Hello, literates, and welcome back to Writer's Ambition. I'm Britt Riderly, and for those of you who have been A1 day ones, you real ones, and for those of you who are just discovering my humble channel, welcome. We hope you stay a while. So, we have been on this journey together. We're in this little mini series on facts and facets of literature through the genres, and we've been talking about race. We've talked about whiteness. We talked about blackness, and now we are on diversity in general. And we gonna hop right in because we know these videos be over in a. So, I understand. Well, first I want to say a lot of Black booktubers have already spoken about diversity, and by and large, I agree with what they've said about phoning in diversity, about doing it in a really mediocre way, about you can't make people, you certainly shouldn't be terrorizing people. All of these different things, I totally agree. And particularly thinking about the terrorizing people, because I don't have any sort of affirmation or congratulations for Click Clack Klansmen. Have several seats. Have several seats, because you're not going to do it. You're not out there in real life, like, about that life, or you wouldn't bother typing it. You would just go do. And, I'm not trying to patronize nobody or tell you to go do it. I'm just saying, choose joy. So, beyond that, I understand the vexation of wanting to see yourself in literature. Like I said in previous videos, I understand the fact that there's an oversaturation of stories by and about white people, right? LJ Smith didn't really give me everything that I wanted while I was in that second wave. Neither did James Haddix, like Michelle Jaffe, even most of the time. Lilith St. Clair, like I enjoyed these books at the time, and some of them I would still enjoy reading again. Some of them not as much. They didn't give me all that I needed, but the point of this video is actually the rest of this shelf. Because I didn't continue to knock at the door of LJ Smith. I didn't continue to knock at the door of Lilith St. Crow. I didn't continue to ask these authors for something that I wasn't seeing from them. Instead, I read more of Toni Morrison, even though I could have not, right? I could have left it where it was in that class in college. But I didn't. And I found Song of Solomon. I found Alice Walker. I found Lucille Clifton. I found Rita Dove. Like, I found these writers, and then I investigated their corpus. I invested in their work. I found L.L. McKinney, Tommy Adeyemi. I found different people to tell stories that mattered to me. And honestly, when I see other readers who are harassing white writers about diversity, when the writer has clearly and staunchly stated what they're not about to do, I'm just looking at the reader like, do you really care that much? Because yes, I love these books. Loved at some point, and I would love for these authors to have more diversity, but the reality is I didn't have to ask Toni Morrison to write about Black people. Like, I didn't have to ask Alice Walker. I didn't have to ask L.L. McKinney, Alexandra House, Talia Hibbert, D.A. Young. I didn't have to ask those writers to tell stories that were familiar to me, that broadened my horizons. They just did it because they was already about that, right? They were already about it. I'm not saying don't bring other writers up. I'm not saying don't challenge them. I'm not saying that sometimes you can't hold their feet to the fire, but it's not through terrorizing them on their social media. If you really want to get their attention, then boycott their books. Stop buying them. That doesn't include trash talking them. It just means you're making your stance clear respectfully and saying, I have wanted to see more from this author for so long. They have so much potential, and it just saddens me and disappoints me that they refuse to broaden their horizons and include more diversity. that they refuse to include a more substantial world, more substantial characters with a diversity of experiences. It saddens me. I think that they could be much better. And until such a time as they choose to be better, I will no longer engage their work. I will not support them in any way. I will instead be reading, and you list some non-white writers whose work you about to be messing with. That's what you do. You don't just keep it online and be, a butt to people, because people just gonna see you as a troll and, ignore you. So I really have the question, or like the side eye for readers rather, who just don't do anything but complain, because I'm just like, what is it about this writer that you find so compelling that you won't leave them alone but also won't read anything else? Like, are your politics really that important to you if what you say is going in one direction and what you read is going in another? If you're really about that life, then support financially non-white writers or white writers who are writing diversely and well. So that's really my main, it's not a bone of contention. It's really just like a sigh that I often heave of, like, you don't really care that much. You just want to be a troll. So I think, and some people don't want to be a troll. It just doesn't occur to them. I guess I'll say that. But if that's what's happening, free yourself, friend. Free yourself from knocking on the door of someone who's not going to answer. Go and find someone who is already doing what you want. Word of mouth, pub them on your social media and engage that. It's richer, it's more rewarding, and that's where you should be putting your energy. That's my contribution to the conversation about diversity. It's not on the writer's side, because we've already done that. It's been done. I don't need to contribute to that particular stream of thought. People have said it and said it well. What I'm saying is, as readers, it's on us to increase demand in places where we think there needs to be increased supply. So then we have to patronize the people who are supplying the quality content. That takes a kind of commitment that goes beyond what you type in 140 characters on Twitter or anywhere else. So let's really think about if you're really about that diversity life and what you're willing to do and not do to support it. Speaking of supporting diversity, let's check in with Eliza Black. It is story time.
43. Black women have the right to be mad. After Brittany Cooper. Belle watches the Welcome to Oklahoma City sign whiz by in the darkness. Lass took the wheel back after she pulled over a couple of hours before. She was glad for it and devoured the rest of the journal in 30 minutes flat. She hadn't read it aloud, and Lass hadn't pressed her. She didn't talk about her mother's miscarriages often, or her lost little sister Lovey, but he knew enough to know that it was huge. So instead of asking about if her presumed miscarried, professed lost, found living little sister has been traipsing through 65-year-old dreams, Lass says, "I finally finished Inuyasha. I feel some Sesshomaru Kagome fanfic coming on." Belle snorts, "You have lost your mind if you think I'll stand for any friend of mine blaspheming the hard-won ship that is Inuyasha and Kagome. Try again." "I don't know," Lass shrugs with practiced nonchalance. "I think Inu Kikyo are the original for that." "Okay, I'll talk." Belle shakes her head vigorously. "Just stop the insanity." "How are you?" "I'm me. I'm Knuckles. Angry. My sister was stolen, and the doctor told my mother she was dead. And if my mother weren't so stubborn, no, if she weren't a fracking amazing mother, glorious, if she didn't have a psychospiritual connection with her kids, she'd have believed the doctor, the supposed medical authority. Crackhead, Belle. Why can't black women be mothers? That's the real problem. They say we're bad mothers, but the truth is we don't get to be mothers. They stole Lovey out of my mother's stomach. And I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Rain had no idea where she came and went from, and I can't begin to guess. So now, I also can't begin to guess where I'd be rescuing her from. And meanwhile, I'm on my way to California in an 80-year-old RV. Now don't go hopping on Cheryl's hood again. I'm so incredibly frustrated, Lass. And that's the most benign feeling I have. Maybe you should call Master Vitali, Laz suggests tentatively. Didn't I ask you nicely to stop the insanity? And don't you know by now that the only thing bigger than my temper is my pride? I know it's hard for you to swallow your pride, but he was the closest thing you had to a therapist, and this is major. Belle harumphs. Yeah, I'll call him right up and tell him that I was just on my way down the street to L.A. to follow the cold case of my best friend's great aunt, who I've never met except for that one night at the bottom of the lake, and while reading her childhood writings, which we're sure are journalistic and not creative shorts, I came across my great-grandmother's name and my dead little sister's name. So, Master Vitali, can you help me resist the urge to punch Cheryl's windows out before we clear Oklahoma? What's that? Straitjacket. All right already. Laz waves a hand at her, then mutters. Picked up Eliza's habit for rambling. What's that? I said Eliza would want you to sleep. You've had a shock. Go lay down. We can talk about what you read tomorrow. No, you've been driving all this time. I have plenty of thoughts to keep me company. Laz shoos her away. I promise to wake you in a few hours to take over. When she finally retreats to the cot in the cabin, Laz exhales. Hope. I'm here. I swear if you try, I have never tried to suppress your consciousness, Lazarus. A few hours, that's it. It's a straight shot. You do need sleep. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to talk to her, and I obviously can't do it from up here. I have to. For Belle. Without another word, Hope slides up, allowing his consciousness to swell until Lazarus recedes to a low buzz, fading steadily away. Good luck, Lazarus. Reach your full potential every Tuesday with Britt Ratterly's Writer's Ambition. Then embrace adventure every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with Eliza Black. Don't leave us hanging. We'll see you soon.